Gotcha. Start with the positive. You know, that's 2 weeks in a row, no turnovers. With the exception of the delay of game, procedure-wise, going into that environment, I thought they handled that very, very well. When you look at the film, not a lot of missed assignments, so that was a positive. Now transition to the negative, we just didn't play clean. Had some technique issues that we got to clean up. I think guys were headed in the right direction, but at some position, inexperience showed up. So that put us behind the chains. And once we were behind the chains, it's hard to convert third and longs. Now we had a success early, but then you just can't live in third and long all night. Back to the positive, explosive plays. It was good to see the explosive plays in the pass game, the run game. Really, really pleased with Kelly's poise. Obviously inconsistent at times, but his leadership and maturity showed up. Good to see, Trevor jumping in that environment and seemed like he wasn't phased. Still got some things that he's learning and growing through, but those are the things that jump out at me the most. So obviously excited to win. You go on the road in that environment. So many unknowns. You got to tip your hat to Elko. He did a really, really good job. Changed some things up. He was determined not to give us the perimeter or give us the inside run. So obviously it took us a little while to figure out playing cat and mouse, but just pleased with the way that the heart of the champion came out in our guys, and they found a way to win.
By experience, Coach, what do you mean the experience played into it?
I'll just talk about Big John Simpson. He looked good at times, but then also you could see that some things were happening fast, and so he knew where he was supposed to go, but just his footwork might not have matched, the footwork that he needed to have at that particular instance, and then that can give up some penetration, and that throws off timing in the run game. So just some detailed things there that we got to clean up. Obviously, K. Stewart, I remember one time quarterback got hit, got his shoulders turned on a twist. So just things that as those guys play more, they're going to see that, they're going to gain experience, and they'll be able to get better from it.
Was offensive MVP last week. Saturday night goes toe-to-toe with the SEC sack leader from last year and held his own. Just pretty much the start that you were expecting to see from him.
Yeah, really, really pleased with how Tremaine's playing. You can see that he's very, very confident. He's playing fast. Definitely understands what we're trying to get accomplished, and so that just gives us great confidence at that right side. Obviously, what you have in Mitch on the left, but to now have Tremaine over there playing high-level football at the right side is big for us.
Tony, ETN, I think 11 touches and 59 snaps. Do you desire more touches for him, or is that about right?
You just want to get the playmakers the ball. And the tough thing about the other night is 59 plays, you don't have many snaps to distribute the ball. And then when you're not playing ahead of the chains, you're not in rhythm. So obviously you're just trying to find some chunk plays. So definitely want to get him as many touches as possible while still spreading the ball around. You got T, you got Amari that can make plays. You got guys all over the field that can make plays. So definitely, and again, a lot of the things are called, and depending upon the structure of the defense, it might be a called run with the throw outlet, and obviously they took away the run, and we got to go with the pass. So.
5 3-and-outs and 8 drives and 5 plays or less. Do you say that's what happened on first and second down that caused that, or was it a lack of execution on third down?
No question. If you look at it, it was. Well, there was one 3-and-out on the 3rd and 1 where it was a lack of execution. Actually, we got ahead on first down, and then it was a second down run pass option, and obviously should have handed it off. But again, that's Trevor got fooled a little bit by a squat corner over there. Decided to go with the pass, and so now we're on 3rd and 1. Then we come out and we just have a technique issue. We knew what we were supposed to do. We don't step with the right foot, and now we give up a TFL right there when we could have converted. The other situations we were actually playing behind the chains and not efficient on first down, and it's very, very difficult, in that environment versus that caliber defense and that caliber coordinator to convert, every 3rd and 8. When you look at your self-scout, you're talking about that's a 30%, if you're 30% on those, and we lived in it all night.
That's that 3rd and 1 you're talking about where Trevor just read it from. That's where this is good for him to get that
Yeah.
experience and see those kind of things.
The 3rd and 1, no, that wasn't Trevor.
Oh, okay.
Trevor actually was doing exactly what he was supposed to do. It was an issue up front where we knew what we were supposed to do. We just didn't step fast enough. They timed it up, and they were in the backfield before we could squeeze the gap. And again, that just goes back to we just got to clean up the details and get those guys more experience.
Tony, you talk about a lot of teams get that learning experience between game 1 and game 2, and a lot of coaches point to that. With the game that you had with Furman being like it was, does this actually become that teaching point game where you guys can really take this game and go into practice today and show the team teaching points that you always look for?
No question, and obviously it was similar to an opener. When you talk about preparing, there was a lot of unknown, especially for us offensively. We played against Elko and his scheme, but again, that was a couple years ago. And obviously, he's got new personnel. Talking about one of his guys came out and said they might try something different, and he did a little something different on third down that we hadn't seen in the past. So it was a lot like an opener. There was a lot more in the plan to be able to have at our disposal, just to try and see how it was going to weed out. So definitely, but I think the biggest thing from this game that we're going to be able to coach off of is we made a lot of mistakes, and mistakes that could have cost us the game, and we found a way to win. And so if we can take ownership of that and go back to the basics and really focus on the detail, the guys played hard, man. They fought their tails off. But again, our formula for success, and you see it here on the walls in the indoor, is that you got to have effort with technique. And we had a ton of effort, and we had technique at times, but we didn't have consistent technique, every single snap that we needed.
Tony, you talk about Kelly's poise. The way he's handled this entire situation, I mean, some guys might not be ready for moments where you have to step up, but he was ready for that moment, wasn't he?
No question, and he proved that last year, and he, he's just being who Kelly Bryant is, and the way that he's handled the situation is just a reflection, as I keep saying, just a reflection of his character. I mean, he's an unbelievable human being, unbelievable young man, and he's found a way to be able to not let what's going on outside around him, infiltrate his mind. He's just able to stay focused and just focus on himself.
Does a win like this, where your feet are really held to the fire in the fourth quarter, really pay bigger dividends down the road as opposed to if you'd gone in there and won 28-3 and kind of cruised home?
I think it's confirmation that Coach talks about all the time that we're built for this. And when you look at Coach's record in one-score games, obviously he's proven that we are built for moments like this. And it's a great challenge. And obviously, at times adversity hurts. You don't like it, but it's necessary. And so this is a necessary adversity for us to be able to grow. If we want to be a great offense and we want to be a great team, then we got to take this learning experience and go get better.
I guess you learned far more about your team from an imperfect performance like that than if they went out there and just played lights out.
I think that every game you got to approach it as an opportunity to get better. So I wouldn't say necessarily, but we know that we had some things that we need to clean up, and we're going to get better. And we're going to go back and work our butts off in practice and get ready to play, because this is the biggest game on the schedule, Georgia Southern.
Coach, there's been so much focus on the quarterbacks, but we haven't asked you as offensive offense coordinator, what's that been like for you? How much of a challenge is that, calling plays, game planning for two different quarterbacks with different skill sets?
It really hasn't been a challenge, thus far. Obviously, you see there in 3rd and 1, Trevor's got to step in there and execute the game plan, and it was a called quarterback run. So it really hasn't been a challenge for me thus far. Obviously both guys have shown that they deserve the right to play. Both of them have grasped the game plans, and so obviously, the biggest thing for me, the biggest challenge is how our defense is going to defend us. And trying to see is there a difference in the way that they defend, the two quarterbacks, and thus far, they've played them both the same way.
Take away the middle kind of the field, where they were, nothing seemed slant, everything kind of having to go outside a little bit.
He did a really good job of what he was gonna do is he was gonna get 7 people in the box, and get to a one-high structure, and so he wasn't gonna give you much down the middle of the field, and so you were gonna have to take the things on the perimeter, and then with him being able to get that 7th defender in the box, and by blitzing interior linebackers, he was able to contain with the end. So basically, he was bottling up your run game, up the middle. So you had to have the ability to throw the ball on the perimeter, and we just found ways to make plays.
You saw that a lot last year too.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get them out of that 7 men in the box?
I think it goes back to being explosive. When you're explosive down the field, and then now they're going to have to respect T. Higgins. I think there was some unknown last year, and obviously we took shots down the field and we didn't connect at as high of a rate last year. But now you see we're connecting. The quarterbacks can put the ball where it needs to be. Those guys can make plays, and then obviously we got to do a great job of getting the ball out on the edge in our perimeter screen game, and they did a really good job of playing physical at the point of attack out there. So we just got to continue to improve.
Tony, how much do you know about Georgia Southern?
It's not a whole lot. So it's kind of like last week. You're watching a little bit of Georgia Southern film. You're watching App State, because that's where the coordinator came from. Now the scheme is completely different. They're going to base more out of an odd structure, play an Okie defense, try to get 7 people near the box. Now they play some variations of coverage that you don't typically see, something that we got to get the skill guys, the quarterbacks, and everybody prepared to see. So, but they're going to play hard. Georgia Southern's always had good athletes. They move, they run well, they're physical, their linebackers will come downhill and hit you. So we're preparing for a very competitive game.
When
Right, you got to be able to run the ball, you know, when it presents itself, and figure out which schemes are going to give you the best opportunity when they are bringing the pressure, and then you got to make sure your protection is solid, and then you got to take advantage. If they're going to bring pressure, that means they got more guys close to the line of scrimmage, so they're going to be a little bit softer in coverage. So you just got to throw and catch, and you got to keep the quarterback upright by protecting him.
Tony, Garrett Williams was not available Saturday night. Did that affect you guys a little bit, your point of attack and the run blocking scheme, you think?
You know, I don't think so. You know, because we were able to still have a little bit of success. We were able to run some gap schemes and have some success. So no, I wouldn't say that limited us.
How has Feaster kind of handled going from being number one back to now? I think
You know,
first
Feaster's.
touch was the third quarter.
Yeah, Feaster's been good. You know, his attitude is positive. He's actually, you know, increased his intensity in practice. And again, part of it was he came into camp, he was hampered a little bit, so it's taken him a little bit of time to get himself back into to really feeling good. And he's been good, all those guys. And it was a tough situation. I told him after the game, you know, I'm just like any coach. I want my guys to touch the ball, but you got to do what's best, you know, for the offensive unit to be able to win the game and get the job done. And again, because they were taking away the run, there weren't as many touches for those guys, and you had to be able to have run pass options. And it's going to come a day, but we knew going in we were going to have to protect the quarterback, and if we call quarterback runs, we were going to have to be physical at the point of attack and blocking, and that's what those guys did.
Tony, we all know this big storm in the Atlantic. Is that one of those things that you don't worry about until they tell you to worry about, or do you talk to guys maybe whose families might be in the projected path of the storm and just see how they're doing? I mean, how do you handle something like this? Because it seems like it's a yearly thing.
You know, no question for me. I'm from Charleston,
Yeah.
and so for a long time, that's where the storm was headed, and I got family down there, and so obviously that's something that's in the back of your mind from a